So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the Avengers are coming back this December. And along with them, some X-Men that we haven't seen in a few years. I'm Alex from Sandro Says. Please leave a like on the video, because I want to get into the trailer that we just saw featuring the X-Men. So, I have some opinions on this. I've been with the X-Men for a long time. They were my original superhero team, at least for Marvel. I grew up in the 90s. The Avengers were taking a back seat at that point. The X-Men were the premier group. They had the cartoon, they had the comic that had just relaunched, they had the Executioner song, so X-Men was huge. And it wasn't like now where Wolverine kind of stood above the other X-Men. Everyone kind of had their favorite. A lot of people was Wolverine, a lot of people like Cyclops, a lot of people like Gambit. So when the X-Men movie came out, people were kind of bummed that Cyclops had the storyline that he did, especially in the first 3 movies altogether. So for those of you that weren't here for those movies, I'll just cover them real quick, because Cyclops, James Marsden, he's coming back as Cyclops after we last saw him in the role 20 years ago. So, or at least in a full capacity. He made a cameo in Days of Futures Past about, 12 years ago now? Anyway, so in the first X-Men from 2000, Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men, but he really takes a backseat to Wolverine. He's kind of like a side character at best. Even when he's trying to be a leader, he doesn't show to have any great ideas. His ideas are usurped by someone else, and someone else comes up with a better idea. He gets his face mask taken off by Toad pretty easily. He's not shown to be a great character, especially compared to the comics and the cartoon, where Cyclops was pretty badass. So people weren't in love with that. Then X-Men 2 comes around, X-Men United, and Cyclops basically misses the entire movie. He has one scene where he fights Lady Deathstrike, gets knocked out, and then we don't see him until the way end. So he takes the entire movie off. So now you're taking one of your premier characters from the X-Men and writing him out of the movie. And then in the third one, between X-Men 2 and 3, the directors left. The director from the X-Men went to Superman. James Marsden was mad about how Cyclops was being used, so he wanted to go be the love interest of Lois Lane, even though everyone knows the love interest of Lois Lane is Superman. So anyway, he had to be in X-Men 3, but they basically used him as a device to show how evil Jean Grey had fallen into the Phoenix persona, and they killed him off. So that was kind of a waste of the character. And then we see him again at the end of X-Men Days of Futures Past, which actually I thought was a great tie-up of the series. We saw everyone was, still doing their thing, but they were older versions of themselves. So that was really where the X-Men from 2000 saga stopped. Now we have them back again, and what we have is now 85 and 86, or 87 and 86-year-old Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart playing Magneto and Professor Xavier, respectively. And they were old when you selected them from the roles. Professor X, it doesn't matter as much because he sits in the chair the entire time, but Magneto, especially now that he's closing in on 90, it's like I don't know what to expect from him in this movie. In the trailer alone, his hair's long, he looks very beat up. So we don't know. I don't know if he's even going to be in the movie for long. I don't know if any of them are going to be in the movie for long, because that's all we see of Professor X and Xavier, or excuse me, Professor X and Magneto, and then we see Cyclops seemingly on a battlefield that's not going his way because there are Sentinels walking behind him, and he takes off his mask or his visor and just lets loose his power, and that's usually the last thing he does as a last-ditch effort. So I don't know if Cyclops is going to survive the movie, or if this is an opening scene type thing where the X-Men are going to get killed for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't have high hopes for this. I feel like their storylines kind of ended, and now they're bringing them back. I don't know why. Apparently Nightcrawler is also involved. Alan Cumming, he was great in X-Men 2. He didn't want to come back in the earlier movies because of the amount of makeup necessary for it, so it's glad to see him come back. But again, I don't get the feeling he wants to be in makeup for months at a time filming something. He's probably in only a couple scenes. So, I don't know what to think of these trailers. It almost feels like, they're pulling at strings again, like they did with the Spider-Man movie, where they bring the characters in from the different timelines, and at the moment it gives you that burst of nostalgia, and then when you watch it again, you're like, oh, so it's the burst of nostalgia, but how much does this actually matter? And I'm afraid that's what this Avengers movie is heading towards, because we're 11 months away, and they're doing all the big reveals now. I mean, I hope there's some surprises left in the movie itself, but when you see that Cyclops scene How are they going to outdo that with something else Cyclops does? I don't know if you can. So, those are my thoughts on the trailer and on the history of this cinematic version of the X-Men. I really liked the Days of Future Past X-Men group, the younger X-Men, with Fassbender as Magneto. He was amazing. So let me know in the comments what you think, what you're looking forward to about this Avengers movie, if you're not looking forward to it, if you're apprehensive. I'm going to do a video next week about the Captain America switcheroo or reversal, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to talk about it next week, my thoughts. I have mixed feelings on that also. But please follow along, and I will see you soon. Have a great weekend. Take care.